This is it. Huh. The beginning of your defeat. Kuriboh in attack mode.
Kuriboh, the cutest, furriest, most adorable little fuzzball you've ever seen. This little guy has been melting hearts for almost 20 years and joined Yugi and the crew on their wild adventures just 5 episodes into the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime. Whether it be the bubbly and vibrant attitude or overflowing expressions Kuriboh displays, 2 decades later, Kuriboh is almost as iconic as some of the all-time favorites like the Dark Magician, Blue Eyes White Dragon, or the Egyptian God cards. After all, creator of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise Kazuki Takahashi himself considers the original Kuriboh to be his 3rd favorite monster of all time, and you may be shocked to learn that there have been almost 30 different forms of Kuriboh spanning across the 6 major Yu-Gi-Oh! Animated series. In this video, I'll be breaking down the entire 20-year history of Kuriboh, all its variations, its appearances in the anime and mangas throughout the years, and even its impact on the physical card game, including the competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. My name is G, and I'd like to welcome you to the 20-year history of Kuriboh. As stated earlier, Kuriboh is a true OG. He was first used by Yugi just 5 episodes in the Yu-Gi-Oh! DM in his Duelist Kingdom duel versus Weevil Underwood. Kuriboh didn't really duel much in this duel and is much better known, in my opinion, in this arc for being part of Yugi's unbreakable infinite Kuriboh lock that was created when he used Multiply on the little guy. This gave Yugi a never-ending supply of Kuribohs to defend his life points and left Kaiba with no way of dealing damage. Unfortunately, about half of everything that took place in these duels during Duelist Kingdom was completely illegal because the arc was made before the physical card game was released and actually had rules. This means as powerful as Multiply was, it wasn't nearly as broken when it was released in real life. Since Kuriboh appeared so early in the DM anime, it was released in just the 2nd booster set, Metal Raiders, as a super rare. While not seemingly important at the time, many eras later, Kuriboh would be recognized as Yu-Gi-Oh's first official hand trap. Hand traps being monster cards that can activate disruptive effects against your opponent straight from the hand and even during their turn, thus being useful without ever needing to actually be summoned. For most of the DM series, Kuriboh was a solo act. However, during Awaken the Dragons arc, Takahashi went pretty Kuriboh crazy. In Yugi's 2 duels versus Raphael, our lead protagonist broke out a whopping 6 new Kuriboh monsters. The multicolored Kuriboh, Kuribi, Kuribe, and Kuribu. Yugi also used the pirate-themed Kuribandits, and lastly Kuribabylon, complete with Horn and Fangs. Ultimately, despite Waking the Dragons giving us half a dozen new Kuribohs, only 1 to this point has actually been printed. The massive milling Kuribandit was released in 2014 to great immediate success. At the cost of itself and a normal summon, during the end phase, it gave players the ability to send the top 5 cards of their deck to the graveyard and add any one spell or trap among those 5 cards directly to their hand. This was powerful because for years in Yu-Gi-Oh! Many monsters have wanted to go to the graveyard for various reasons, but at this time in particular, archetypes like the Dragon Rulers, Sylvans, and the soon-to-be-released Shadows were among the strongest in the game. Last but certainly not least was the legendary Japanese Angry Kuriboh. This was an alternate art prize card given away to the winner of the 2001 Asian Championship. This is one of the rarest cards in existence, as Konami only printed a single copy. Early asking prices had this card going for over $8,000 US. Moving to the GX era, Kuriboh received a minor makeover but was more integral to the anime than ever. In fact, in the very first episode of YuGiOh GX, Jaden was given Wing Kuriboh by none other than King of Games, Yugi himself. Jaden would soon learn that Wing Kuriboh was more than just a mere monster card and would soon become his spirit partner. This meant Kuriboh communicated and even encouraged him throughout his years at the Duel Academy. In the manga, Jaden's origins of getting Wing Kuriboh were significantly different. He received the card after meeting and dueling the current world champion, Koyo Hibiki. Wing Kuriboh in card form appeared in the YuGiOh GX anime in nearly 40 episodes and has multiple artworks in the show as well. Wing Kuriboh is also very unique in the fact that it is the only Kuriboh with multiple forms, each being significantly stronger than the original. The anime form, Wing Kuriboh level 10, effectively let Jaden in his opponent's battle phase destroy all their attacks attack position monsters and even inflict direct damage to them simultaneously. Its manga counterpart, Wing Kuriboh level 9, was pretty much the exact opposite, as it was purely an offensive card and could be a massive beat stick. The real life version of Wing Kuriboh level 9 didn't need a specific spell to summon itself, but was pretty convoluted and fairly mediocre. Konami also created a normal version of Kuriboh during the GX era called Wretched Ghost of the Addict. Much like its flavor text suggests, this little guy was completely harmless in every sense of the word and was therefore never used by any competent duelist. This includes Jaden, because Ghost of the Attic never appeared in the YuGiOh GX anime either. The 5Ds era was a major shakeup because for the first time, the lead protagonist did not use a Kuriboh monster a single time in the anime. Everyone knows that Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds had a much darker tone than the first two Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, and maybe Takahashi thought that the upbeat and friendly attitude of Kuriboh would clash with Yusei Fudo. Luckily, there would be one signer and member of Team 5Ds who would actually use a Kuriboh on the show. That signer was none other than Luna, released in the booster set Ancient Prophecy that also featured Luna's signature signer dragon, Ancient Fairy Dragon, as its cover card. Kuriboh took stage. While this card was somewhat easy to play around, it packed a very powerful effect. This effect would let Luna block all battle damage she would receive from oncoming attacks on Kuriboh, gain life points equivalent to the attacking monster's attack points, then return Kuriboh to the hand to be used later in the duel. Kuriboh appeared in about half a dozen episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds and was pretty much the standout Kuriboh of the era. However, it was not technically the only Kuriboh used during 5Ds. While Yusei didn't play any Kuriboh monsters in the anime, he did use one in the manga, and his furball of choice was Junk Kuriboh, a monster that could be used when Yusei was in a serious bind and his life points were about to hit 0, but also a Kuriboh that could actually destroy attacking monsters and cards that would inflict effect damage. When Zexal rolled around, things went back to normal, but at the same time were unique. Once again, our lead protagonist, Yuma, played multiple Kuriboh monsters in the anime, but this time the main lead wouldn't be alone, as series rival Kaito Tenjo also played a Kuriboh monster as well. This was the first time both the main protagonist and rival used Kuriboh monsters in the anime. Yuma actually had two different Kuriboh, one each for Zexal 1 and 2. He used this Xyz-focused Kuriboh during the first half of the Zexal anime, including the World Duel Carnival arc, and later he relied on Rainbow Kuriboh during the Barian Invasion arc. Kaito only used Photon, which oddly enough actually resembled him, specifically his hairstyle. Much like in the GX anime, a Kuriboh would serve a far larger role than just being a mere duel monster for our lead character. Rainbow Kuriboh was not only a clutch card for Yuma in multiple duels, but it aided and served as his personal guide when he traveled to and journeyed through Astral World. This even included miraculous feats like when Rainbow Kuriboh transformed into a boat, allowing Yuma to cross the ocean, or when it acted as a bubble, allowing him to travel underwater. Released in 2014's Legacy of the Valiant booster set, Rainbow Kuriboh did actually see competitive success in decks like Shadows and Lightsworn Rulers. This is because of the card's excellent dual utility effects. If drawn, you could use its in-hand effect that would allow you to equip it to any one of your opponent's monsters, thus rendering them unable to declare an attack. But the real spice was its graveyard effect, which would allow you to special summon itself for free and stop a direct attack. Specifically for these decks, it meant free defense if it was milled to the graveyard with a Lightsworn monster, or if it was fused directly from the deck with a card like Shadow Fusion. Arc V was probably the strangest of all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Eras for Kuriboh. Just like in 5Ds, our main protagonist, Yuya Sakaki, played exactly 0 Kuriboh monsters through the entirety of the anime. However, he played a bunch of them in the manga, including, as to be expected, 2 Performapal Pendulum-based Kuriboh monsters in Intermate Baro Kuriboh and Intermate Classy Kuriboh. These 2 cards were manga exclusive and have had no physical release as of yet. He also used Performapal how Kuriboh in the manga, although this card was actually released in the OCG just a few months ago. The real-life version was slightly altered to no longer require direct attacks to summon, but the trade-off was it didn't reduce battle damage taken to 0 either. During this era, because of the DM-focused Dark Side of Dimensions full-feature film that was released in 2016, we also received a bunch of YuGiMoto themed Kuriboh monsters as well. Clear Kuriboh, which was actually used in the movie by Yugi himself, as well as the two ritual-focused Kuriboh monsters, Spear Kuriboh and Relink Kuriboh. These cards actually had their effects reference the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters anime, as when Yugi first ritual summoned Blackluster Soldier, he used Gaia the Fierce Knight and Kuriboh. In fact, Spear Kuriboh was released alongside a slew of brand new Blackluster Soldier ritual cards, one of which shows Kuriboh being used for the ritual summon in the art. Lastly, there was Kuriboh, also released in 2016 in the structure deck YuGiMoto, that gave the ability to revive any monster destroyed by battle at the end of the battle phase. So overall, this era was very strange for Kuriboh. Not only did YuYa, the main character of the Arc V anime, play no Kuriboh in the show, but oddly enough, we got way more Yugi Kuriboh cards than we did for YuYa. Finally, that brings us to the 6th and current era of Yu-Gi-Oh! The Branes era. Yu-Gi-Oh! Branes main character Yusaku Fujiki uses a Kuriboh monster starting around season 2 of the anime. What's notable about Yusaku's Link Kuriboh is the fact that it is the first ever extra deck Kuriboh in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. As its name suggests, Link Kuriboh is a Link monster and one that immediately made an impact on the competitive meta when it was released. Requiring just a single level 1 monster to summon, Link Kuriboh can tribute itself to reduce the attack point of one of your opponent's attacking monsters to 0, thus rendering it practically harmless. If that wasn't enough, Link Kuriboh can easily be revived from the graveyard by simply tributing a level 1 monster you have on the field. This card has seen massive popularity in strong competitive decks such as Altergeist and Cyber Dragons because it allows them to take their floating level 1 monsters like Cyber Dragon Hertz and Altergeist Miluseek and turn them into an excellent defensive card that opens up an extra monster zone while triggering the search effects of said monsters at the same time. This wouldn't be the only Link mechanic Kuriboh Konami would have in store, as another character in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Branes anime, Ai, also has his Lingeriboh, which could be just as popular and is expected to be released in the future booster set Ignition Assault. Based on the version currently in the anime, Lingeriboh is easy to summon, can negate a trap card your opponent uses, and just like Link Kuriboh, can be summoned from the graveyard using its own effect. And finally, to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise, creator Kazuki Takahashi came up with Ankuriboh earlier this year. This Kuriboh can summon monsters from either graveyard when your opponent declares an attack, and can even tutor the very powerful Monster Reborn spell card upon being destroyed by any means. This card is not out yet in the TCG, but many are hopeful that the card will be released by the end of the year. Well, there you guys have it, the entire 20-year history of every single Kuriboh, from the physical releases to the impacts on the competitive meta to their appearances and effects on the anime, and basically everything in between. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give the video a big thumbs up, and if you guys want to see other videos like this for other cards such as Dark Magician and maybe Blue Eyes White Dragon, leave that in the comment section below and I'll start working on those videos. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already and turn on the notification bell for daily videos.
Wait, you can see him? Of course I can, and hear him too, though my Kuriboh-ese is a little rusty.
You gotta be kidding me.
You know, unless you use it every day. Anyhow, let's duel.